Brooklyn, the home of the Nets, in a fine Eastern Conference affair here at Barclays Center. Well, before you look ahead to your busy week, sit down, relax, pull up a chair as we bring you another NBA broadcast. And thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us.
Ready to go?
With Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. We take a look at the Celtics. And here in the first quarter, with a little over 3.5 minutes played.
Well, so far for Coach Brad Stevens, the Celtics have had nothing but praise for their outstanding young coach. No surprise for those of us who know Brad. The team is really moving ahead in the rebuilding process, and he gets a lot of the credit for that.
On the court right now for the Celtics, Andrews in at point guard. Jay Crowder out there with Johnson. Then it's Turner, and it's Zeller in at the center position.
Just such a good shooter from that range.
And you factor in his height advantage, it's almost unfair.
And part of the reason why the Celtics are ahead of schedule in their rebuild is because of Coach Brad Stevens. He has everyone on the same page.
You know what? You talk around the league about Coach Stevens, and other coaches are just astounded by his work ethic. People around the league think he's already a top coach and could be one of the greats by the time he's done if he stays at the professional level.
And Sloan kicks to Lopez. Pass to Hollis Jefferson. He's looking for Lopez and finds him. 6 on the shot clock. A stupendous finish in traffic. Lopez has got 5 points so far.
Well, if you like offense, that's what you're getting here early on.
This has a little bit of playground feel to it, fellas. I mean, forget about defending. Just outscore the other team. Let it fly.
Here's Andrews. Shot misses. So Brooklyn will take it the other way. Their last game, a win against Boston, looking to carry it into this one.
And believe it or not, it wasn't the stars that led the charge for them in that win. It was about the role players. I mean, the guys who they don't usually count on for the lion's share of their points came through.
Guys, simply a complete team performance. And road wins where everybody contributes really can galvanize a team and bring it together.
No, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one.
The Nets shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game.
And on the season, you know, they're hitting about 76%, which is a decent rate.
And, guys, that's really an upgrade over how they shot last season. Not a huge upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless.
Celtics making a switch here. Bradley's checked in. So it's the Celtics now. 4-point game. Coming off that loss against the Nets.
Yeah, not a fan of moral victories, but that game in a lot of ways was a confidence booster for them because they really didn't have it that night and yet still had a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think they're one of the few teams that can play that poorly and still almost come away with a win.
Lopez with the bucket.
I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
It really has, and they've created a lot of high percentage shots in the paint here already.
He gets it up. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. The first quarter all wrapped up, and it's been an exciting game so far. Celtics out in front. They lead by a... And Celtics head coach Brad Stevens lured away from a very successful tenure with the Butler Bulldogs. He talked about the challenge of making that decision.
The only hard part of that decision is leaving a place that you really loved for 13 years. I couldn't have left without knowing that it was a place that we were going to stay together and really commit to a process together. And I was sold on that, and I continue to be sold on it.
I wonder if Coach Brad Stevens feels like he's recruiting on the court. Johnson comes in for Olynyk. Crowder, he's checked in for Turner. And Freak subbed in for Bradley. Last season, the Celtics had a solid 19-22 road record, Clark. Not the 500 mark most teams want, but a very good effort from a young team, and no one really expected that.
Yeah, and you think about this team that's still growing and has a lot of youth. I mean, that kind of road record, very impressive. Their fans should be feeling pretty good about what the future holds with this group.
Hollis Jefferson is out there with Young. And then there's Henry Sims. Then it's Donald Sloan. And it's Ellington in at the 2. So that's the lineup for Brooklyn.
2 minutes.
Here's Thomas. Boston again missing.
Yeah, and thinking back on the Celtics, on the road, their away record doesn't tell the whole story. They won their last 7 road games in that tremendous playoff push. And now he's taken a solid opening in the quarter and built on it here in the second.
There's a minute 34 left to play here in the half. Freak kicks to Johnson. Down low. Outer dishes to Zeller. That's his second shot and his second basket. He's 2 for 2.
Another away from home note for the Celtics. They were 7-1 in road games against the rest of their division. Their road play was the driving factor as to why they made the playoffs.
Here's Sloan. He's covered by Andrews. Just 5 on the clock. Sloan, and it's blocked by Andrews, and he's able to get it back.
Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, you hope that's not indicative of the type of D they're going to play, because if they do, they're going to have struggles with him tonight.
Johnson the screen, and they call an illegal screen here.
Boy, with 2 fouls now, he really has to be disciplined and under control for the rest of this half.
Nets trail by 3. Clark, they've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a little bit of cottonmouth here. Dry spell for sure.
Pass to Sloan. 3-pointer. And the shot is good. Sloan's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Now here's Freak. Guarded closely. Now the feed to Johnson.
Next foul.
This is his first free throw of the game.
Not the best statistic for him in terms of his performance at the line. Very low numbers.
I think it's been a struggle for him at the line. He's been scuffling this season. I mean, he's pretty well below the percentage that he shot a season ago, and not quite sure why.
Here's Sloan. He picked up 12 points in their last win against the Celtics in Boston.
Yeah, but he...
Beautiful.
And guys, that's one of the more basic plays in anybody's playbook, but not to mention also truly one of the best.
And Greg, the pick frees him up, and Clark, the... And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first. Teams changing it up here. Celtics leading by 8.
And guys, as much as Isaiah Thomas can help you on offense, at times he can hurt you on the defensive side. Immediately posted up by whomever he's guarding, you have to give help. And, of course, that leaves your defense vulnerable, particularly on the weak side and controlling that defensive backboard.
On the floor for Boston, Bradley and Turner filling out the perimeter. Kelly Olynyk is out there with Jared Sullinger. And it's Andrews in at the 1. And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
You got to love the big bucket in the paint in this sort of grinded-out physical game.
That's the kind of look they can continue to go with. Maybe that'll help them create some separation on the scoreboard.
Johnson, he's checked in for Jared Sullinger. They grabbed their own miss. Here's Turner. The shot no good.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
Wayne Ellington's checked in for Brooklyn.
Wayne Ellington.
Nets trail by 5. Here's Sloan. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 7.5 points a game. Evan Turner pulls it in. Turner's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. Greg, you're talking about Isaiah Thomas before. Certainly his short stature limits him on Clark, the defensive side.
Yeah, but you know what? He doesn't rack up a ton of steals given his instincts and quickness. I think he really focuses on making his impact at the offensive end.
Hollis Jefferson passes to Lopez. 6 to shoot. And again, it's the Nets missing.
Major defensive lapse right there. I mean, he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You've got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
And Bradley gets it to go.
Guys, his consistency in terms of shooting has really helped them seize control.
Lopez, no luck.
You can see the frustration in the quarter on his face, especially with his team trailing.
Freak kicks to Turner. Feeds it to Freak. There's the triple. Ellington grabs the miss.
The mechanics totally out of whack right now. He's lost his feel for the shot.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, just totally out of sync. I mean, you can just see it in the numbers. Nothing going down for him right now.
Freak kicks to Johnson. Turner dishes to Freak. It's stolen. Here's Sloan. Turner covering. Olenek with the steal. Now Freak up in time. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Brooklyn Nets.
Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. Celtics leading by 8. Our fourth quarter action underway, presented by Gatorade. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups. And Brooklyn, looking who they've got. They've got Jarrett Jack. Brook Lopez is out there with Young. And it's Bogdanovich in at the 3, the small forward. Clock at 4 for the 3. And Freak gets it to go on the assist from Crowder. Crowder's got 3 assists tonight.
And certainly they are not hesitating, letting it fly from deep here in the second half.
And, Greg, I have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I hate to see teams get conservative with the lead. As long as they're good shots, take them. And as long as they're falling, continue to take them.
And let's get your take on it. And so it's the Boston Celtics with the W. They seem to relish their role as the bad guy here tonight.
You know, Kevin, I sense that as well. I mean, they really did feed off all of that negative energy this crowd was directing at them. I mean, they turned it around and used it as motivation to close out a significant win.
And that about wraps it up. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. And this broadcast has not ended just yet, as we've got the award-winning Ernie Johnson standing by here for the post.